Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 2 men are on the run tonight after a terrifying robbery in suburban Launceston that saw petrol poured on a 2-year-old boy and his mother. Police are appealing for public help to catch the men responsible for the targeted attack. Our reporter Sean McComish joins us now live from Kings Meadows. Sean, what can you tell us?
Rachel, just after 7 this morning, police say 2 men wearing balaclavas forced their way onto a property here on K Street in Kings Meadows. A 23-year-old woman was allegedly assaulted by the men, who demanded to know the whereabouts of another man. Incredibly, the 2 men poured petrol on the woman, but also her 2-year-old son. They then left the property with a small amount of cash. Here's what police had to say earlier today.
Well, it's horrific, whether it be the mother or the child. The fact that someone has had petrol poured over them and then threatened to be burnt alive is an horrific act. So the child is fine. Petrol is only over the clothing. In relation to the mother, she appeared fine, but as the day's gone on, she's had some complications from the petrol and she's currently at the hospital getting checked out at the moment.
Now, police are appealing for anyone who may have CCTV vision of the 2 men in the area to come forward. And they're also appealing for anyone who may have information to contact Crime Stoppers.
In Tasmania, the state government says it will now review the federal proposal before signing up to a public sex offender register, saying it still needs to be convinced the plan would provide genuine protection to victims, and that when similar ideas were discussed in previous years, the government didn't support them at the time.
I understand it hasn't been supported in the past, but that will be reviewed carefully by the Attorney-General and the State Government.
In the past 4 years, the state government has introduced a range of reforms, such as the signing up to the National Redress Scheme in an effort to protect victims of sexual abuse. Green Senator Nick McKim has called for an urgent summit to address Tasmania's growing bushfire risk. It comes as a blaze in the state's remote southwest continues to burn, originally sparked by 2 lightning strikes last month. Now, the Senator says authorities should come together to ensure those on the front line have the resources needed to safely fight remote fires.
Because of the breakdown of our climate, we are likely to see more and more of these fires in the future, and they will have more of an effect because the weather, unfortunately, will be getting hotter and drier.
The Gel River fire has already destroyed more than 20,000 hectares of national park. Fruit growers across the state have breathed a collective sigh of relief today as mainland Tasmania officially regains its precious fruit fly-free status. It follows a disastrous year for many farmers, now left to recover their businesses in the wake of the pest's destruction.
The warning signs finally coming down, a momentous day for fruit growers.
Tasmania is now fruit fly free. It's a very special day. It's been the largest biosecurity effort in Tasmanian history.
Restrictions put into place a year ago after Queensland fruit fly was detected, marking the end of the state's proud fruit fly-free status, but the start of a devastating 12 months for farmers. Many markets unwilling to take potentially contaminated fruit.
For those who have product that has been unable to be moved during these times, that obviously has a major impact for them, and some have adjusted their practices accordingly.
It was very concerning. There's been a lot of money invested in a lot of our commodities for export, and that was very nervous, a lot of nervous people out there.
Now everywhere except Flinders Island has been declared free of the pest after a mammoth eradication effort. This farmer managing to survive the turmoil with the help of loyal locals supporting the business.
We're just very lucky that we're very diversified and we've got a farm shop and cafe, and that's kept the lights on basically.
But today was about moving forward.
Today's a pretty happy day for us. Today we've just sent our first consignment of fruit to our closest town, which is Ulverston, which has been closed until now, and it's fantastic.
Authorities now working on a range of reforms to keep fruit fly away from our borders. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Those forced to live rough on the northwest have been given a helping hand today. The Vinnie's van being rolled out to serve nutritious meals, blankets, care packs, friendship and support.
It's that whole approach which goes beyond just serving a simple meal.
Vincent de Paul's Burnie office has assisted more than 2,000 people in the last 6 months alone.
It's been rented for a long time. People don't realise that it's one of those sleeping issues around the place. You occasionally see people that do need the service, but the magnitude of it has been kept under wraps, and this will certainly bring out people and provide a service that is desperately needed.
$35,000 service was made possible with funds from the CEO Sleep Out at UTAS Stadium last year. The van will operate in Burnie on Thursdays and will soon hit the streets of Wynyard on Tuesdays. A new tourism survey has revealed the number of interstate tourists visiting Tasmanian shores is slowing down. Last year, the state experienced just 1% visitor growth compared to around 4% in previous years. But the peak tourism body says international visitors continue to boost the state's economy.
It's a relatively small, conservative rate of growth in terms of overall numbers coming into the state, but it shows that there's a big shift underway in the types of people that are coming, and generally we're seeing more internationals and a lot more people spending, I guess, more time and money within the state.
Now, the push continues to ensure all visitors explore everything Tasmania has to offer and not just its major cities. Racegoers have added plenty of colour to the Devonport Cup, with movie characters and even a Viking among those pouring through the gates. The action on the racetrack was well and truly matched by the fashion of it.
You're never short of characters at the Devonport Cup.
Nice tie. Good to see you dressed up.
Wearing a suit and tie, you've got to be joking.
But I brought Harlequin along this time.
Maybe next year we'll have Batman.
It would make for another eye-catching entrant to the day's fashions. But could Batman beat this blue trim and bow tie ensemble?
A bit nervous once the crowd started to get a bit bigger.
The popular millinery field had a striking selection of headwear. La Trobe's Kristen Phoebe was the judge's pick.
I make a lot of my own outfits, so it's nice to have an outlet to express that creative side.
The odds changed all day, but this group of mates has stayed the same. They've travelled from Melbourne to the Cup for the past 8 years.
Group of guys come over, we get a top every year and new top, and every year the Penguin Tour.
Cheering on the Cup hopefuls brings back memories for two-time Melbourne Cup winning jockey Jim Cassidy.
We had a members' dinner last night, and the people bringing back memories of Kiwi winning the Cup, and you know, some people were saying I had $20 on him then back in '83, and then obviously Might and Power in '97, but look, they're all great memories. They can't take them away, and that's what racing's all about.
And it was about making new ones for those attending.
Lovely day, weather's turning on. Devonport, look at the crowd.
The people, it's fabulous. It's great to be here.
And it's only going to get better as the Devonport Racing Club looks to tip more money back into its amenities.
The health of the club is amazing. The committee have done a fantastic job, all volunteers, and we've got the club back in the black, and we're upgrading facilities every year, so it's fantastic.
We'll have the Cup results a little later in sport. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
A dedicated Tasmanian wildlife operation clinic sees around 9,000 cases of injured wildlife each year. And today was no different. Our cameras allowed in to witness a young Tassie devil on the operating table as he battles through on the road to recovery.
Safe and sound, this little devil undergoing a checkup at Bonnarong Wildlife Sanctuary after being found sick and alone in the Florentine Valley. One of 70 animals treated in this dedicated clinic each week.
He was brought in by a member of the public, obviously too young to be on his own.
Weighing a tiny 700 grams.
He was covered in parasites, so he received first aid care here on the weekend, and then he's gone to a carer.
This young quoll is now doing well, soon to be released back into the wild. Visitors of all ages can watch treatments such as this as they happen.
I like looking at them getting check-up.
Amazing experience to be able to see right firsthand what's going on here.
It gives them, a different perspective of how valuable wildlife are and how we value them and how they can be helped.
The park, as well as being a tourist hub, takes on average 50 calls a day about injured animals found across Tasmania.
As soon as you've got the animal, even if you think you know what you're doing, call us, because we can reaffirm it's the right thing to do and we can start the ball rolling on getting help.
The majority of the 100,000 people who visit the park here every year are tourists. But with increased tourist numbers comes increased incidents of injured animals on our roads. The park says everyone has a role in keeping our wildlife safe.
Planning your drive, so you're not driving when animals are active, not littering so animals are getting stuck in the rubbish, making your yard wildlife friendly.
A small change which could make a huge difference to the lives of our smallest threatened and endangered species. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
The Hobart International has seen a record number of fans flood the stadium as the event reaches its halfway mark. Beautiful weather attracting larger crowds and a new generation of tennis fans.
The wine is flowing and the hats are on as this crowd settles in for another sunny day of tennis.
Beautiful day out here, always some good talent on display. Some of these people end up playing quite well in the Australian Open, so good to see those guys in the flesh here, and it's always good company.
And it's a great thing to support a Tasmanian event such as this.
We'll play tennis and it's our local tournament, yeah, and we want to support it, yeah.
So far this year's Hobart International has seen around 5,500 people walk through the gates. It's up by around 1,000 compared to this time last year. And surprisingly, Hobart's weather may be the main reason.
The crowds are tracking really well at the moment, so we're hoping with the forecasts and the great tennis in offer, we're hoping to get some bigger crowds from last year.
This year's tournament is seeing more families and children flocking in to see some of the big names in tennis in action.
It's quite interesting to watch who'll win and all the sets and stuff.
Because they hit the ball really hard, and if you just watch it on TV, I don't think you see the ball go as fast.
You just get caught up in the game.
Tennis fever carries on until Saturday at the Domain. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
People in regional and rural areas often cry out for more access to health experts. And today, the North West Coast has received a dose of new medicine. 7 students from the Rural Clinical School in Burnie will remain in the region to commence hospital residencies. They'll be joined by 4 other University of Tasmania medical graduates who are moving to the coast to further their careers.
Just helping people really into anatomy, medicine, all those sorts of things. So just helping people, I think, just the main reason.
The interns will be undertaking their orientation in Burnie before beginning 3-month rotations in areas including King Island and Queenstown.
The Cup favourite was a winner in Devonport, paying $4.80 to win and $1.90 to place. Jockey Craig Newitt rode Eastender to victory by a length and a half this afternoon.
It's Eastender swooping to the lead now with 200 metres left to go. It raced to the front. Eastender, it looks all over a winner. Speed Force is coming after it. Eastender leads away from Speed Force. Eastender takes the cup.
The Barry Campbell trained horse from Sprayton claimed $60,000 for the win. Hobart International top seed Carolyn Garcia was knocked out of the tournament last night by unseeded Sophia Kennan. Today, American Kennan backed it up with a straight sets win to advance to the quarterfinals. While the last Aussie has been eliminated from the competition, with Switzerland's Belinda Bencic accounting for wildcard Zoe Hives 6-2, 6-4.
And the serve out wide, Bencic holds to love. It's all over for Zoe Hives.
Zoe played very good, so she's definitely a tricky opponent. So, yeah, I had to be focused the whole time. And, yeah, I'm just happy to be through.
7th-seeded Belgian Kristen Flipkens also advanced. A Heather Knight half-century couldn't drag the Hobart Hurricanes over the line in their clash against the Adelaide Strikers. Chasing a total of 165, the Hurricanes were 6 for 132 before a tail-end collapse saw the side lose its last 3 wickets for only 7 runs. The Canes will play their last game of the season against the Melbourne Renegades on Saturday.
We saw showers about the west and far south today, with temperatures a little warmer than predicted. Hobart reached a top of 21 degrees, Launceston 23, Burnie 20 and Devonport 22. 24 degrees was the state's top temperature recorded at Friendly Beaches. St Helens had a top of 22, Maria Island 21, Smithton 20, Flinders Island, Low Head and Ouse all 19. 18 was the top for Grove and King Island. Strawn reached 17 degrees and Lyowini 13. Here we can see the low cloud streaming over the state today, breaking up over the Central Plateau. Zooming out, the satellite shows a cold front crossing the Tasman and the remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Penny directing a cloud band over the east of the mainland. Tomorrow, a high-pressure system dominates the southeast, with inland troughs persisting through WA, the Northern Territory and New South Wales. On the coast, westerly winds 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 about the south. Swells to 4 metres in western and southern waters. And there is a strong wind warning for lower eastern, southern and western coastal waters between Wineglass Bay and Sandy Cape. A shower or two for Hobart tomorrow, 21 degrees. A possible shower for Cygnet 19, New Norfolk 21. Launceston, partly cloudy with a top of 24. The same for Campbelltown, 22 the top for Devonport. To the northwest coast, Burnie, partly cloudy and 21 degrees. Strawn showers clearing 18, Smithton 20. St Helens and Swansea both fine with the top of 23, Fingal mostly sunny and 24. UV 11 across the state, which is extreme. Moving further ahead to the end of the week now, Friday mostly fine apart from morning showers in the east. Saturday will have the opposite of that, fine in the east with morning showers elsewhere. And a mostly sunny day across the state on Sunday. Further north tomorrow, a mostly sunny day for Perth, 27 the top there, 30 for Adelaide, showers for Sydney and Brisbane, Melbourne partly cloudy with a top of 22 degrees. And finally, here's a look at the current conditions. That's all for tonight's Weather H, back to you.
Well, that's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.